Hello, my name is Cheryl Wagner, and I'm going to be doing my Windshield assignment on the communities of Rancho Palos Verdes and San Pedro. So this is Los Angeles County. Rancho Palos Verdes is over here, and it's bordering San Pedro. San Pedro and Palos Verdes are located on the Point Fermin Peninsula in LA County, just west of Long Beach. I've lived here since 2004 and have spent time in both areas. I currently reside on the border of San Pedro and Palos Verdes in a relatively affluent area. So right about here is where I live. My assessment of San Pedro. This is Palos Verdes. My assessment of Palos Verdes. This is an extremely affluent community with resorts, golf courses, coastal recreational areas such as parks and public beaches. To the left is the Trump National Golf Course with public access ocean trails. My assessment of Palos Verdes' physical environment includes wide open spaces with trees and plants, parks and outdoor recreational areas. The general appearance is clean, free of debris and trash. Roads and street signs are well maintained. Boundaries, there's some gated communities, but mostly large houses and single family homes. And signs of decay, pollution, and safety, not much of it here. The well-maintained buildings, and there's fresh coastal clean air. This is my assessment of San Pedro. This is 8th Street in San Pedro, one block west of Harbor Street at the Port of Los Angeles. As you can see, the homeless community has taken over this city block. Unfortunately, this is an accurate reflection of the homelessness in San Pedro, and it's on the rise. My assessment of San Pedro, the physical environment, is urban with many old buildings. Some of them are coastal. General appearances, rundown buildings, cracked sidewalks. Boundaries include bars on the windows and stores and commerce mixed in with the neighborhoods. The housing includes back-to-back apartment complexes, a lot of multifamily homes with back houses, and government-issued housing. There are signs of decay, pollution. There is trash and litter on the sidewalks, tent city near Harbor Street, as we had seen in the previous slide, and many big trucks and big rigs with a lot of emissions as far as pollution goes. People in Palos Verdes. The people in Palos Verdes are mostly professionals, such as doctors, lawyers, and businessmen. As I drove along the coast, I also saw that a lot of people hiking and biking. There's no shortage of outdoor activities, and a lot of people in Palos Verdes like to take advantage of this. So demographics and homogeneity. It is a primarily white population, 77%, over 5,000 total households, and about 3,500 husband and wife families. A slightly smaller amount, a 300 female household with no husband present. The health and lifestyle behaviors, like I had said before, running and biking, golfing and racquetball. Risk behavior includes teen binge drinking and drug use. People in San Pedro, pictured here is one of the many auto shops seen around the city. There's also car washes, boxing gyms, pizza parlors, and independent shops. These are a reflection of the hobbies and interests of the people in San Pedro. The demographics and homogeneity, 58% of white and 53% of Hispanic or Latino, so kind of a split community. Health and lifestyle behaviors, there's a lot of gyms and indoor sports such as boxing. There's diverse food places and such as Italian pizza parlors and a lot of different types of ethnic foods. And there's a lot of sports bars also downtown. Risk behaviors include homelessness, a lot of homelessness seen, drug use and marijuana. There's a lot of dispensaries that you could see driving down Gaffey. And gang activity. Services in Palos Verdes. These are stores located at my cross streets. There are many chain grocery stores and markets. On the right, you'll see a 7-Eleven sign in the distance, and on the left is the Vons supermarket complex. Services in Palos Verdes, as far as parks, recreation, and open spaces, there's the Trump National Golf Course, the Terranea Resort in Abalone Cove, also Point Fermin Park. Transportation, Palos Verdes Public Transportation Authority. Don't see that a lot around. Every once in a while I'll see a bus. And there's not a lot of pedestrians. People are mostly driving in their cars. Health and social services include private medical facilities and psychiatrist offices, especially in Lunada Bay. The religion, there's some big churches like the Wayfarers right on the coast. It's like a beautiful glass church. And Rolling Hills Covenant is also a very prominent big church in Palos Verdes. Education includes Palos Verdes Peninsula High. It's ranked 197 in national ranking for good high schools. There's also Loyola Marymount University. It's a private college up in Palos Verdes. Stores and shops include chain grocery stores and fast food places. There's some upscale restaurants as well. Services in San Pedro. So there's a car wash pictured, a lot of people with, auto shops, and then also on the right, the City Hall Market as an example of the local neighborhood markets that we talked about earlier. So parks, recreations, and open spaces. Portsic Hall is on the waterfront. There's a lot of tourism on the weekends, especially that is brought to San Pedro from Portsic Hall. A lot of seafood, good little restaurants there. There's also Averill Park, which is kind of near in the center of San Pedro, going up toward Palos Verdes. It's a pretty beautiful, nice park. It's in a nice neighborhood. And Angels Gate Park and White's Point are more on the coast, closer to Palos Verdes, which is more of an affluent area of San Pedro. Transportation-wise, there is a lot of public transit, and there's also a lot of people that I see pushing different carts, shopping carts, and different types of carts to carry their groceries, and there's a lot of pedestrians. I'll see a lot of people waiting for the bus or walking home. Health and social services, there's Harbor Community Clinic that serves the community of San Pedro. It's a low or no-cost clinic. And Little Company of Mary Hospital, where I work, serves San Pedro. It's in San Pedro. It serves San Pedro and Palos Verdes both, but it's actually located in San Pedro. So then there's also a lot of chiropractic offices catering to longshoremen and ILWU insurance. Religious-wise, there's a lot of local community churches, a lot of small churches you'll see around in the neighborhoods. Education, San Pedro High is not ranked according to the U.S. News and World Report. Some of the statistics include 82% as minorities, 69% Hispanic going to San Pedro High, and then also 83% graduation rate, and 53% of the students at San Pedro High are economically disadvantaged. Stores and shops include local shops within the neighborhoods like we talked about earlier. Economics in San Pedro, pictured here on the right is South Shore Racket Club. It's a high-end luxury community, a condo community located right on the coast. And to the left is a typical nice car you'll see when driving around in in Palos Verdes. Economics in Palos Verdes, business and industry. There's restaurants and grocery stores. Major employers include hospitality, such as Starbucks, Papa John's, chain restaurants, things like that. Also business and consumer services, such as Terranea Resort, and education jobs, such at Marymount University. Signs of poverty and wealth. There's a lot of nice houses, and there's also some apartment complexes, but most of them are luxury and they're very well kept. So this is a picture of a couple of houses in San Pedro, kind of showing the condition of the buildings. This is a typical shop that you'll see on a corner in San Pedro, barber shop, and then to the left is a local boutique, independent. So economics in San Pedro, business and industry, there's fast food restaurants, pawn shops, local independent stores. Major employees, again, is hospitality, fast food, and restaurants. And longshoremen account for a big community in San Pedro. A lot of people in San Pedro are employed on the docks. Signs of poverty and wealth. There are some areas that are more affluent and middle class, especially heading up toward Palos Verdes. But there's also public housing, halfway houses such as Beacon and Harbor House, and there is a lot of homelessness and rundown apartment complexes in crowded areas. Health problems and issues in Palos Verdes include mental health and psychiatry. Also, the aging population needing assistance. A lot of them want to continue to live at home because they love where they live. I did notice a lack of community health services for low or no fee in Palos Verdes. And then there's also the issue of teen binge drinking. Community resources and strengths that Palos Verdes has. Mental health services, a lot of places, psychiatrist services for people in Palos Verdes. There's also park and recreation, outdoor activities to sort of relax and blow off steam. There's home health services for the aging population, and there's volunteer healthcare providers for pro bono services. Also, good public school system and after-school programs are available in the district of Palos Verdes. Reflections from key stakeholders in Palos Verdes. Amber confirms that helping the aging population in Palos Verdes to obtain home health services so that they can continue to live at home is a key health concern in the community. Lillian believes that seniors are healthier in their homes, but if there is a need for transitional care, it's important to have good facilities to meet the needs of those not yet ready to return home, but need some assistance and care. Community member, as a mother of 2 children approaching high school age, Jennifer believes that it's the importance of after-school programs and getting teens involved in sports is key to avoiding risky behaviors. And Esther is an elderly community member that utilizes home health services. She believes that the quality of life is improved in seniors who are able to obtain help while remaining in the home that they love. Health problems and issues in San Pedro. Well, there is drug and alcohol use, longshoreman debility from physical labor on the docks, and lack of insurance and affordable healthcare facilities. There's also a lot of homelessness, unfortunately. Community resources and strengths in San Pedro include Providence has a chemical dependency facility. There's also a lot of support groups available in San Pedro for people that have suffering from alcoholism and family members of alcoholics. There's an Al-Anon club that I noticed when I was driving. And there's a lot of chiropractic and massage services for the longshoremen to help with their sore backs from working on the docks. There is, a solution would be to open up more community clinics for low or no healthcare, for low or no fee healthcare. That could be of help for the members of the community, and housing services for the homeless and drug addiction, such as Harbor House or Beacon House. Reflections from key stakeholders in San Pedro. Chris believes that outpatient community programs for health prevention is key in improving health practices in the community. She believes that independent programs can be just as effective in preventative care as education as community clinics. Timothy is a strong believer in helping drug-addicted and impoverished individuals with the first steps in gaining their independence and employment in San Pedro. Community member Jill believes that without help from a local halfway house, community member Jeff believes that without the help from a local halfway house, he never would have been able to get sober and find a job. He believes that help is available in San Pedro for those who really want it. Larry is a community member in San Pedro who has many health problems, but no insurance. He claims that he will wait for hours at a community clinic until being turned away at closing and told to come back the next day. He claims that if there were better clinics out there and more clinics closer to where he was, he wouldn't end up having to have frequent hospitalizations. My self-reflection of this Windshield assignment experience. I have lived in both areas, both San Pedro, closer to central San Pedro, and the docks in the Port of LA. And I also, now I live which is technically San Pedro, but it's right on the edge of Palos Verdes, so it is a more affluent area. I was surprised to find a lack of community clinics in Palos Verdes when I was doing my research. I was not surprised at the demographics and income of Palos Verdes. I live in a very, very nice affluent area. I was lucky enough to find an apartment that was pretty affordable, all of the surrounding areas, though, are a lot more expensive. And there's just a huge community of people that are very well established and well off, which I'm not surprised at. As far as San Pedro goes, like I said, I used to live closer to the docks and closer to the downtown area of San Pedro, and I was very shocked to see the increase in homelessness and poverty that has increased over the years since I've been spending a lot of time down there. There's a lot of homeless, the homeless community along 8th Street was very shocking to me. I had no idea when I turned the corner that I was going to see all that. And it's something needs to be done about it. I was, however, pleasantly surprised at the resources available for people in need. The Harbor House, the Beacon House, there's some women's shelters, senior centers. And so there are a lot of resources out there in the city of San Pedro for people in need that don't cost anything, which is great. All right. Here are my references. Thank you very much.